Hello, and welcome to my back nine coverage of my round at Stafford Woods. This is hole 10, 215-foot par 3. Kind of get a bad kick. If you want to know what's going on, kind of get a background, you can watch my last video. I'll put a link in the description. But I figure, if you didn't watch the front, why are you starting at the back nine, you goof? Get back to the front. So I'm really in a bad place here. I have to go up and over everything with my AVR X3 and get a great result for a weird throw. I've honestly been working on that throw where I kind of just throw a thumber that just pans and has it land like flat on the flight plate, and it's been working out for me for kind of those weird go over everything shots. And boop. I think I was 2 down, so we're just going to keep that going. A par on this hole honestly isn't that bad. It can get really, really hairy in the rough. As we move on to hole 11, 616-foot par 5. This is honestly one of my favorite holes on the course. I think it's just really well designed. It's a short for a par 5, but just so challenging, and it's so easy to go kind of left, right in this. So I'm throwing my T-bird. I wanted to go through that gap in the middle of the trees, but I missed and it went off to the left. I say thank God because there is a spot in the rough which I found that has kind of a straight line, a perfect kind of little window for a forehand like this. And it'll get you right up to where you want to be towards that little mound up there. But if you kind of keep going straight, you can miss every single tree and end up in a really bad spot, like when I threw my T-bird if I hadn't kicked that way. So I'm really happy with this result. Being here in 2 is exactly where you want to be. Honestly, it's ideal to be on the other side of this mound because there's another flat part, but I can't complain, even though I just did. So I'm going to throw my rock, and it works out pretty well. I thought that shot was like 60 feet short, honestly, and then when I got up to it, it was like maybe a 20-foot putt, so I'm still having trouble with my mental game here. I knew immediately that wasn't going in, where I'm having trouble with my mental game where if I think it's bad and then it's good, I have such a hard time capitalizing. That's really something I gotta work on. But I mean, I came out with a par and that's okay too. This hole, you can get huge numbers as we move on to hole 12, 243-foot par 3. This hole, I usually tell people when we walk up to this hole, and by usually I mean the couple times because of coronavirus I played with people, that I either park this hole or I'm 30 feet off the tee because I hit one of these first trees. And so let's see which one it's going to be this time. Flip that coin, and it lands on its side as I throw it through the side, miss everything, and end up top. So I'm neither parked nor 30 feet up, but don't know how I got this result. So this one, I don't feel so bad. I'm not expecting to make this because it's a pretty far uphill putt. It's pretty severely uphill, so, I'm not super upset because it could have been so much worse. So I go to just tap in my my par, and we move on. I'm having a pretty good round. I haven't had a bogey since hole 1. We're looking good. As we move on to hole 13, which is the inverse of this hole, the exact opposite. That hole is severely uphill to the left. This one is severely downhill and to the right. I'm throwing my AVR X3. Because it's so downhill, it'll really turn over a lot of discs if you try to get too, a little bit too cute with it. And I kind of just flex my AVR X3 down there. And let's see, I end up parked. So great result. Add another birdie to the list. And I'm old, and we move on to hole 4. 200 and I think this is 287. It's in the B position, the pin. So rather than be kind of to the left, you have to kind of flex it a little bit more forward. I'm throwing my really overstable Viking, and I just kind of early release it. But again, you miss by a lot on this course. That's kind of what you want to do, and I actually did pretty much the exact same thing I did on 12. I'm pin high to the right, but that could have been way worse. So this is a great result. I have to get it really kind of stretched out. There's a ton of trees over here. I'm trying to float something over. So close, but it's a that's a good result considering. I forgot I did that. Considering how badly that could have gone, you can kick way right on those, and another par, not losing any strokes. So playing clean golf, even if I'm kind of leaving some meat on the bone, as they say. Move on to hole 15, 591 foot par 4, I think. So I used to aim at that little tiny Christmas tree to the left, but I realized it doesn't really matter where I am since I don't run up, so I just kind of throw it straight and hope for the best. And I threw my orc there for no real reason. When it comes to any driver over 9 speed, I don't really have a reasoning behind why I'm throwing. It's whatever I feel comfortable with. So I'm throwing my rock. There are 3 gaps you can kind of go in. I'm aiming for the middle one here. And I throw it a little bit high. There tends to be a little bit of wind out here, and I threw it a little bit too nose up. Caught some cabbage and got knocked down. But one of the nice things is even if that happens, you still will trickle down the hill a little bit. So I did get a little ways down the hill, less than I'd like, but I have a look, which is good. But it's severely downhill, so if I airball it like I do, there is a real possibility that I could be very far away. But I think I hit the little cement blocks that surround the green. This is a beautiful green too. And those are, I think I saw somewhere they're 12 feet away, so I was like maybe 18 feet out or something like that. But I make the comebacker for par, and I am very sweaty. Oh, it's like a heart. Beautiful. Move on to hole 16. Par 4, 497 feet. The only real danger on this is all of the OB, and if I pull it, which I do quite often, I'm out of bounds basically on the tee, so I'm just trying to get something in bounds. It doesn't really matter how far you go. I threw a T-bird, but I throw a rock on this sometimes because you just need to get in bounds, and then it'll leave you a pretty easy approach because the fairway kind of widens up. When it gets around the green, there's a little bit more space to work with, so I'll throw my AVR X3 and really pull it. Just absolutely pull it, but luckily it's pretty stable, so at least it comes back. It doesn't just flip over into nowhere. That was way off, but it's okay. And we come up to a really cool hanging basket. I think this is just a nice little change of pace. I am very lucky I caught metal there because of the hanging basket. It's very easy to go very far past and have a real tough comebacker, but I'm just right there and I get a nice tap in for par. And again, I prefer to get a birdie on this. This is a pretty easy hole if you land in bounds off your tee shot, but with a bad shot like that, that's the best you can hope for. Now this one, 362 feet, par 3. It's down this hill and to the right. I'm throwing a V-rock, get a little bit of turn, and have a tiny bit of fade at the end because it kind of shapes the fairway pretty nicely. And this is the first ever birdie look I've had on this hole for some reason. I have such a hard time. I've gotten a birdie on this hole, but I've never been inside the circle, so. That's a nice putt. And now I think, I don't write the numbers until after I do the voiceover for no reason. But I think I'm 4 down now, which is a good round for me. And move on to hole 18. It's currently in the B position, so it's not 285 feet. It's basically straight to the right of the A position. So it's a similar shot over here. I'm taking a very overstable disc and basically throwing on a roller angle to hope to flex it out. But I hit a tree. Oof. But as we go up to this, the regular position is kind of in that little lighter area, as I trip, that little lighter area there. And the new position is to the right of that. You can't really see it straight through all of this stuff. So I'm going to throw my Justice. I'm trying to just throw it at the ground and have it flare over. And I missed the ground, but it hit a stump and just kicked straight right. So exactly the same result, but a terrible throw. So you know, this is one of the situations where I was expecting something terrible and I got very lucky. So let's see if I can capitalize on this for once in my career. That one felt good. Just to end with a par, not get a bogey on this, which is quite often what I do. And we move on to this turtle again. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, share, whatever, all that YouTube stuff, like it. I'll see you in the next thing.